You've got issues with the industry. What's going down with the industry, dog?
The industry is full of a bunch of sucking, dick riding, bending over the desk ass nigga, straight up like that. Whoever don't like it, bring it, nigga. Bring it. I don't give a fuck. Bring it. Bring it. They got this new breed of rapper that's paying DJs to play their shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They the record label executive, and there's like there's too much of that going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me be me. Let me be the artist that I am and just play my motherfucking music. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They want you all up under this, you know, sitting at the going to dinner with them and shit like that, and you know all that favor for a favor shit. I don't get down like that. Look, I give you the music, you give my money. That's it. A lot of the love I had for wanting to be a part of the industry is not there anymore. I don't even associate myself with the industry. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an industry artist. I'm an artist in the industry.
I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago. He told me to take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the way.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out. No, take me there.
It turns out DMX had been warning us about Diddy for years. Most people brushed him off or thought he was just ranting. But one person who actually paid attention, 50 Cent DMX was never scared to speak out about the dark side of the music world. He openly said the industry is full of people willing to do anything to climb the ladder, sell out, kiss up, bend over, whatever it took. And he wasn't just saying this for shock value. He truly believed he came face to face with the devil in the industry. That's how he knew God had to be real, because if evil existed, then so did good. DMX always made it clear. He might have worked in the industry, but he wasn't part of it. Nobody could control him. He wasn't about to follow their rules or play their dirty games.
What did they do? They sold the company. They invited me into a house and they sold it. Yeah, I am mad. You know what I mean? All right, I'm mad. I feel betrayed, man, but it. You know what I mean? It's a business and I'm gonna carry it like a business. My music is still my fucking music, and you play on my music, you play on my life. You play on my life, nigga, you're gonna disappear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, things are definitely changing there, man.
Yeah, they got a whole new staff now, so I gotta go in.
You get what I'm saying? Now here we are, years later, and things are finally coming to light about Diddy. And it's even darker than most people ever imagined. Suddenly, all those wild claims DMX made, they don't seem so crazy anymore. At one point, DMX even said he turned down deals with Diddy because something didn't feel right. Originally, Diddy passed on signing DMX, but when he saw Def Jam was about to offer DMX a huge contract, Diddy tried to jump back in, this time offering even more money, but DMX didn't buy it. He'd already heard whispers about what was going on behind the scenes at Bad Boy Records, and he didn't want any part of it.
One thing I respect about him is that at least he told me to my face what he felt. He was like, his voice too rough, I'm marketable. Maybe 2 weeks later when he found out I was getting signed, but that time he was like, yo, I'll lace your pockets. I'll double what they gave you and lace your pockets. I'm like,
If you didn't know what I was then, you just pretty much jump on the bandwagon now.
if you didn't see that's all right. Sound cool. So it's a legendary story.
Like I told you, we sat down with Diddy, but he knew he wasn't going to sign with Diddy. He knew Diddy wasn't going to sign up. He knew in his mind that Diddy wouldn't want to take on problems right now.
Yale said that you were supposed to sign the Bad Boy.
But they know I was talented. They just looked at it and was like, I don't want all the stuff that comes with it. M stumbled over it, but he didn't know the trouble that came. You see what I'm saying? So
Some people used to say, oh, when DMX said Diddy was robbing his artist, he just meant financially. Like, maybe Diddy was shortchanging them on money. But now, with everything coming out, people are starting to wonder if DMX meant exactly what he said.
Told us about Diddy. DMX was known for talking out about how wicked the industry actually was. Off of you than alive. One thing that stuck in my mind is the fact that DMX said that he never saw Biggie smile until he passed away. He explained that you would always see happiness in a person's smile or even in their eyes, and he literally didn't ever see that from Biggie until he was in his casket. In the same interview from a long time ago, he talked about how Diddy would rip off his artists and steal their publishing.
I never saw Biggie smile until
hard to explain. You know, I'm really good words with like it's hard to explain what smile does for us. Because you don't just smile with your mouth, you smile with your eyes. Like like a true smile can be seen even if a person is covered their mouth. Well, a lot of stuff signed before I did. Even though I bought a lot of store artists, they got signed. They were a safer group. Pop signed them. And it was a blessing and a curse because they were sure they were happy about getting signed first. And they were on the Benjamins and she was on. But then he made them jiggy and put them in suits and made them write lyrics for him and took all that publishing and like, damn. I'm bad.
And this isn't the only thing that DMX talked about. He also talked about how there were people in the industry that basically wanted to take you out to dinner and stuff to get a hold of your music. And you cannot tell me that DMX was not talking about Diddy, because the first thing that I thought of is when 50 Cent said that Diddy asked to take him shopping. DMX even explained how some of these artists would sleep with music executives to get up in the industry. And now that we know how Diddy rolls and what he was doing with people's careers, I almost guarantee you the person that DMX was talking about.
Or DMX didn't just call out Diddy either. He warned about other new rappers doing whatever it took to get signed, stuff that had nothing to do with making music. There were rumors floating around about certain artists doing favors for label executives just to get their music played. And guess what? Diddy's name kept coming up in those same kinds of stories.
No, he was grooming us. It's kind of like you're signing boy band groups and girl band groups because you like one or two of them and you want to see who gonna go. It's nothing to you but a tax write-off, but you were really searching for a butt the whole time. So he was looking for my butt, Chopper butt, everybody butt. It wasn't nothing about the music. Was like, yeah, I can, and it took off to be bigger than he ever expected it to be. But Puffy coming up, he was just signing a lot of boys. Usher, it was something he figured out that R. Kelly figured out, that we can get them away from the parents. If we could get them alone, isolated, then we can get them. Once you get in a butt, it's like you want us now. What you gonna say? I got video of me in your butt. Like, how can you ever make another record? You dig what I?
DMX even made a whole song called "The Industry," where he laid it all out. He said the whole game was fake and twisted. It's not about talent anymore, he rapped. It's about playing the game. They want to control how you dress, how you act, how you talk. And if you don't play along, you're out. But DMX wouldn't fake it. He stood firm and said, "I'm not an industry artist. I'm an artist in the industry." Now here we are in 2025, and everything he said back then, it's starting to sound like the truth. He warned us about artists selling their souls. He warned us about the vultures in the business. He warned us about Diddy, and he wasn't alone.
I go to Diddy parties, which is where people like me step in. So what motherfuckers? Because ain't nobody stopping me when I come. Why would they talk about who is there to go to? Who's gonna fucking help them? What HR department do you know of that works for any of these labels?
Yeah.
When have you ever heard of a sexual harassment suit being publicly acknowledged in the entertainment industry at all? Listen, not in entertainment.
Tupac, remember that one? That was.
He was the only one.
Yeah.
You saw how that turned out.
Yeah.
No, guilty.
That's why they do it. To make you an example. To remind you what they're willing to do to keep things the way they want them. It's intimidation. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case.
But instead of listening, people laughed at DMX. They called him crazy, said he was washed up or strung out. The media dragged his name through the mud for years. Even after he died in 2021, they kept framing him as troubled instead of honoring what he stood for. Sure, DMX had his struggles. He dealt with addiction and had run-ins with the law. But one thing he was never accused of? hurting women or children. Unlike some powerful names in the industry who kept getting richer and more famous, DMX never had serious accusations of predatory behavior, and that's the part that stings. There's a good chance that Diddy might still walk away from all this clean.
I'm a former prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. David, welcome.
Hey, Mike, good to be here.
So in week 2 of testimony, jurors heard from a dozen witnesses as prosecutors try to prove sex trafficking and racketeering. What are your expectations when court resumes tomorrow?
It's going to be really interesting tomorrow when Diddy's third or fourth assistant takes a stand, and she's going to actually corroborate Kid Cudi's testimony from last week, where he said that Diddy and another associate of his bombed his Porsche years ago at his house. Now, you have to have corroboration about that because nobody can put Diddy there. In fact, nobody even can say Diddy's the actual one who did it. But if they can say that Diddy or an associate of his did it, then you may have a racketeering charge there. Because right now, as it stands, Mike, nothing, and I mean nothing, is sticking to Diddy.
Diddy's lawyers are trying to make the case that his escapades do not amount to federal crimes. How difficult is that argument?
I think they're doing a fantastic job, honestly. Look, everybody has said, and Diddy's lawyers even said it in their opening statement, Diddy is not a good guy. There's a lot of domestic violence that occurred between him and Cassie in their relationship. However, what we've heard so far from the testimony of Cassie and the other individuals does not amount to the federal charges that he's being charged with right now. I'm not going to say anything that we heard is very good because it's all horrific. However, the state or the government in this particular instance needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he conspired to racketeer, to sex traffic, and to promote prostitution. So far, they're falling way behind in this. And I know there's a lot more to go in this trial because they're saying it's going to be about 8 weeks. But the government really better step on the gas because they don't have a lot more time to go.
So the play seems to be maybe admit to a state crime that avoids prison time. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Look, again, you're hearing about all this domestic violence, but all that has nothing to do with what Diddy is charged with. There's a possibility, and I'm saying a very strong possibility right now, that Diddy could walk, that he could be spending